See what we're working with here.
What's up, guys? So today I took a few trades.
Let me
Started up with
save my
well, not
current
EXPE. I
layout.
actually started up with Workday. So Workday was the play that Brian always talks
All
about.
right, let me
Horizon
load my
level.
recap
So
layout.
pre
Man,
market,
Expedia's
the
ripping up
stock is
too.
gapping down.
I guess
It's
the whole
on
market's looking a little bit
the
better right
current here
now.
on the 5 minute. Um, as you can
Did
see, it's
Squawk come out on
went all the
PCG?
way
That's
down below
awesome.
VWAP, and then you had this bounce. I went in a little
All right,
prematurely
open.
here
I
in a
want to
small
show you
size,
guys
50
PCG.
shares,
This was just
and then
really
I added
cool.
another 50 shares all the way up here to
All
167.
right.
It did bounce all the way up to 168.50, but that was so quick that I wasn't able to get my order in. So on the way down, I hit 167. And then I basically scaled out at 165. I took out 50 shares, and I was trying to see what it was going to do. It seemed like it was
Well, that's
consolidating. I
really
gave it
cool.
another minute.
Yeah,
It
so I mean,
consolidated around
PCG
this
got some
level. I didn't
help.
want this stock
That's
to
for
bounce back
sure.
up in case
I mean,
you
on the
guys the
daily
level
too, it
doesn't
did a
work.
breakout of.
Nothing works 100% of the time. So I basically got out, but it did eventually dropped all the way down to 163 about. So that was my first play on
Good Squawk
Workday,
afternoon. That's
and
good.
then I did play it
I'll do my
again
best
later
not to talk
on
over the guy.
when I
PCG
saw
broke out
this
from high a day at
making.
$10
So
too.
basically,
I
what
mean,
happened
that's awesome.
was it was making
PCG is on fire. I mean, if PCG can
higher lows.
ABCD here above 10
So what I
bucks,
saw here on the
I have
one
a
minute,
level on PCG at
actually
1025. Let me see
the
where that's
15
coming
minute.
from.
So on the 15 minute, it was still very much in a downturn. So the high was here. It did make a lower high here. However, the stock was forming sort of like a triangle or a wedge here. So I was holding this level at 164.
Too soon.
And so I was curious
Mac.
as to whether it
Mac's
would
on
pop
fire.
above
That's
this
funny.
trend line. I did set a hard stop. I forgot what it was. Maybe
Too soon.
164. Initially, it was 164 50 or 40. I took 200 shares of
PCG's ask
the
still looks
stock.
pretty stacked as
So
well,
it's
all the
not
way
a
up
big
to like into the
size,
1050s
but the stock
almost.
itself does
So,
run.
but we
So I
do
took
have
a
some
small
larger
size,
bids
200
starting to pop
shares.
in back at like
I set my
970,
stop loss, I think
964.
164.
So, and we're
40,
going
and then I moved it up when
upside
I
down
started
hammer
to feel that the
here.
stock is not going to drop all the way down to that level. So I moved it up to 164.65, I think.
So, but we are throwing in
So I
maybe a
did
shooting
add,
star on
I
the
put it
5
with
minute on
100 shares, and
PCG.
then I
So,
added to it when I saw
be a little
strength. It
cautious
did
with it on this
do a minor
movement. It
pullback to
is, we're kind of holding this
164.8, but it
moving
was
average, but
holding
it looks
this
like it
level,
might
so I
be
felt
trying
very
to sell off
confident
a little
about
bit
it.
through 10 bucks.
Once it broke this trend line, I know the trend was broken, the downwards trend. So on the 5 minute, you see that the trend line basically demarcated the downwards trend. The trend was broken. I did have a target at 168, but I think that was a bit aggressive. So I scaled it back down to 167. So essentially, I took two partials.
All right,
I took
guys.
one at
So
166 and then one at
PCG was
167.
just
Let's see if that's
awesome.
true. Yep, I took one at
So notice here
166
above
and then I took
VWAP,
another one at
look at this
167.
beautiful ascending triangle it made here.
So it did hit 167, and after it hit,
Right
it
there,
just
you can even
collapsed.
see it comes
So
back
that
and it
was my
actually
trade
holds all the way
on
back, like almost the entire day.
Workday.
This has been a very
And
obvious
then
$9.50 was an insanely obvious price level for
Expedia.
the
So Expedia had
all
some
day
news.
support and resistance
Basically, the
on both
C-suite
sides
is
getting
replaced.
used. Right,
So the
so it
stock
came back here,
kind
then
of
it
jumped a
finally got
bit.
back up to it and just hammered
So
against it until the
here,
moving
I
averages
got
popped it up. Ideal
topped
entry
up
would have
here.
been
I was
this
thinking, okay,
right
it's gonna
about
hold
here,
VWAP.
like
Maybe it'll go
950-ish,
for a break
951
this level,
for breakout up
106.
to
It
10
didn't happen,
bucks.
and
Now
then it
maybe putting
stopped
in an
up.
ABCD pattern
And then
against
it dropped all the
1015,
way
that'd
down
be
to
pretty awesome.
here. I didn't really
So
see this move, but on the way back up, I saw that it was now above all
I
these
played a
moving
little bit with some
averages. All it
Roku
has
in
to
the
do is break
afternoon. You can see what
VWAP
I did
and
today. I'm
this
still holding a
SMA
position
here.
in it.
It was a very
So I
strong
took a
stock.
little
And
bit
what's
off
gave me
here at
confidence
100
is the
at
fact that there is
150,
a
just because
level
that was
around
always
that
kind of a
level,
target
the
for me. So and when it went
104.92.
above it,
So
then it
this
came back
is
and
from the
failed it. As
daily
soon as it
level.
came back up
As you
to
can
it,
see here,
I took
it did
some off at
drop
150 just in
below
case
it,
it
and it was trying to
breaks
bounce
and
back
goes back
from
down. If
it.
it happens to reclaim
Eventually, it did make it
150,
back up.
I'm not
So
gonna
that was
add in at
where
this
my
point. I
stop
don't
loss
think I'll just
think it
hold
was
it
a
and see
little
if it
below
goes
that.
through
So
high
I
a day, and if it
probably
does,
set the
then
stop loss at 104.
you know, I'll just hang
But
on
then
to it and
I
see
only
how
took
high it
50
can go before
shares,
the end of the
so
day.
it was not a lot, but this 50 shares actually got me a lot of money.
But you can see here, so
it
here's
went
what
from
was going on.
104
So
all the way
Roku
up to 107. I was going to
made
set
this
my
like really serious
original
bottom
exit at
here,
109, but
and
I
it was
felt that was a
actually
bit
doing a descending
excessive.
triangle
Eventually,
against
it did
the
hit
20 moving
109
average. So this
actually.
shows you that they don't always work.
But
So,
I thought that was too big of a
and
run.
it actually
did
had
surprise me, but either
some
way,
decent,
I got a good run
you
out
know,
of
level
this.
to it as well.
On the way
But it
down, I
bounced
thought it was
off
going to
that. Let me
hold
move out
this
to the
level just
daily and
because
see
it
if there
was a
was something
strong
more
stock.
dramatic on the
So
daily
I
around that level.
put in, I think, 50 shares, 100 shares. That didn't work out, so I
So
got stopped
anyway,
out. And then I saw I was holding
so it
this
was
level
holding really
below
well right there, and I think
657,
someone
so
in the room
maybe
was
that would
asking
be a good
Eamon about
place
a
to
short back down to
go
VWAP.
back in another long. So I went in long again, and I added to it when I saw that it was starting to creep up. That didn't happen, and then it dropped. So I basically exited at 106.
Give me 1 second.
Below the support level, and it tried to go back up, didn't really make it, and so now we're below the support, and I went short this time. I did cover a small size here, at 105.5. In retrospect, I should probably have covered more, simply because it respected this
squat guy talking.
simple moving
All right,
average.
so
It popped
so you
up,
can see
I
here
added
it
to my
bounced up and it
position,
came up
then
here,
when I
and then
wasn't doing
someone was
anything, I
asking
basically got
Eamon
out of the
actually
small
about
profit, and then I got chopped up here, thinking it would go short. You know, with a profit, my profit target was this other level.
he was
at
talking
104.
about it
Didn't get there.
starting
Eventually, it did
to
make it down
Charlie
to
California
105, but I
NBO
wasn't in the stock
buyback. That
anymore.
could be
It was very
interesting.
choppy at this
But anyway,
point.
you can
So it was
see
basically
someone was
bouncing around
asking Eamon
VWAP
about was
and
this
the
going to be
moving
a
averages,
short,
so
and
I didn't
Eamon
really,
actually said he really liked it for
continue
a
to play with the
long.
stock. So essentially, it's a wash.
And then
With that 150
so
share,
I was looking
quite a
at
bit, but then I gave it back.
the way the L2 looked and the way it was holding. I agreed with
OMER, I kind of missed the entry on OMER, and so
$5 million
what ended up happening
buyback.
is I actually lost some money on OMER, and how this worked out.
Oh well, that's a little bitty. That's
So I marked
$1.14.
out several levels on OMER, 1518, 1561.
Warrior Trader, buy 10,000 shares. Let's
above
go.
that, there's another level, 1622. So my original entry, I was
I'm
thinking
trying,
about
JT.
going
I'm doing
in
my
at
best, man.
1525-ish. I told myself,
It's really
okay,
hard
it
because it's kind of hard to
dropped,
kind of
held
keep a
this
relevant
level,
point
and
going
it was gonna
sometimes when the
cross
squat guy,
these,
sometimes he gets going, but I'm trying
cross the SMAs, the
to
EMAs was
get
gonna
better
cross
at
SMAs,
it.
and then there's this level
Something to
here.
get used to,
So
that's
if it
for
crossed
sure.
that level, that would be a good level.
Don't
of
go
support.
long,
I
by
can
the
put
way.
my
There's some
stop
heavy
loss right
bidders
below
down at
that
$1.
level.
It looks like it probably pull back before
So
it
that
does
was my entry,
on
but then I
CUI
was
for the record.
playing with some other
You.
stocks. When I came
But you
back
can
to
see
it, I
here,
didn't
look on the level
expect it
2
to
here,
really
see these
pop
bidders
this
sitting
quickly,
at
so I missed the
$1.
entry.
Like I wouldn't go long now because it looks
I wasn't gonna chase
this
it.
bidder.
Once I missed the entry, I missed it. So I watched it. It dropped back down to this other level, 1561. So I was thinking maybe it's gonna take a breath and then go up to
Anyway, back to the fun.
I
So
went
see,
in long here.
Peter, this is
100
look at
million
this.
shares.
So on my Roku, I'm
And I
trying to
set my
channel
stop loss
Peter a
very
little
tight
bit
one, right
for
below
getting out
that,
of positions
level.
when I get a really strong
And
move.
then
So
it
Peter and I
stopped
had
me
a
up.
talk
I
about
dropped,
like
I think my
holding
stop loss was like
holding your
15.55,
position
so
like
maybe
all the
like
way
a
for like a
10-cent
break
stop loss,
even,
and
and
I
at
lost
what
20 bucks
point
on this.
are you just giving back so much? It's just better just to
Then
get out and then buy back in later if the stock sets back up and looks a little bit nicer. You can get a better RVR and just with some of your profit versus just letting just kind of letting it drain away. So I want to see if it's going to hold.
I was thinking of taking this for a long, simply because on here, it looked like it was going to break these moving averages. Actually, it did break these moving averages. So
I saw that it was after it broke 150. I saw it roll over and lose 150 and then come back up. So I went down to a much smaller position at 150 there, and then figured I'd get out the rest if it loses like 149 or something like that. But even if it bounces here, I mean, it doesn't. It's still 150.
And I was just watching it, and then I started to demarcate this trend line. So it was making
Weapons
the overall trend was a downward
unidentified planes. That does not sound awesome.
So
anyway, I went long here, and these are actually these were partials here,
So basically
and
what I
then
did
it
with this
pulled
stuff
back,
was
and it
I had
bounced
a
off
bad
of this
entry. So
the
when I
9
saw that
moving
was
average, and
the
it looked like
EMA
it was going to be
flattened out,
strong. So
looked
I
like it was going
added
to
in a little bit
cross.
here,
I
just
went
a little
in
bit,
small
but where
size
break even was still
on the
good.
shares.
So
And my
basically, I'm
profit
still
target
just
was up
risking my
here at
break
around the
even, and that, but
156
at this
80
point, a
level.
much
It
smaller
dropped on
share
me,
size. I added
and
in a
then
little
I
bit
didn't
more
really
here. Let me
re-enter or
zoom in because
scale
you're gonna have
in
trouble seeing it.
until this level here,
There we
the
go.
very
I
first
so
bottom,
I added in a little bit
155.58.
here. I added in
My
a little bit
reasoning
more
is
here, but then
because
stopped out when it
this
lost the
could
50
easily
moving
form a double
average
bottom and then it'll
because
pop. So
I
I
I
did
had to.
scale in
At that
another
point I
100
was at break
shares
even.
to a
So I
losing
had to follow
position,
that
but
rule.
the reason
But
why I was
it broke
comfortable
through
doing
the
that is
50,
because I
came
know that
back
once it
up,
breaks this
tested the 9
bottom,
moving average,
the
came
stock is
back,
going to
retested the
continue to
50, and
drop.
then came
So
back
my stop
above
loss
it.
was actually
This
really
time when
tight,
it
right under
retested
the
it, it didn't
bottom.
get as
Did
low
stop me out, so I
on this
dropped, and
tail as it
then
did here.
I got
So I
like
thought
sucked
that was
up
good
there.
enough for me to try
So
one
and then
more
I
time because
kept
I liked the
watching
way
it.
the L2
And then
looked.
there's another
So
level,
I went ahead and got back
155.21.
in,
It
this
dropped to
time
that level,
fresh
so I started
position,
to buy
and
back
the loss was just
the
going to
stock.
be
So I
the
bought
loss
back
of
at small size,
148
50 shares
40.
each.
So
So I
that's
scaled
not
in.
too
It
bad,
did
actually.
pop
That's only
again,
10 cents on
testing
Roku
this
or so, which is
SMA.
a pretty sweet
It
risk
failed.
versus
It
reward.
dropped, and so
So
I
I was
scaled
able
in
to go in
more
much
once it dropped
heavier
below that
on this
level,
one
and
than
then
I
I
even did
scaled in
on
the
this
final
one. On
piece
this one,
here.
my risk was
So then
actually
the
the loss
question
of
is, why did I
148.20.
keep scaling
So an
into a
extra 20
losing
cents risk. So
position?
this was
The
a
reason for
half the
this is
position of
because on
this
the
one.
daily level,
So I went ahead and added into this
there
one,
are
and then it popped,
two
and then
SMAs here, the 50
we
and the
got, see,
200,
I played it for a
and
second.
then the VWAP as well. So there's three
And then this one
layers
got a
of
nice pop. I
very,
took a
very
partial here and then a partial at 148.90 because it
hard to
rejected
break
off of
support levels
149 really
here.
hard.
So I was very
Pulled back,
comfortable
and that was a
adding to my
big
position
partial I
simply
took there
because
because
of
I did
those
not
three
like the way it
long-term
popped
moving
off of
averages on the
149 and the
daily
bid
level.
started to look heavy.
So
So
it would
it
take a
came
very,
down,
very
and then
weak
I thought I
stock
would add in
to
here because
break
it
those
actually
levels.
went down,
So I
held
scaled
this
in,
and pushed
and
back up and then
then
came. So I added. It's kind
this
of hard to
is
see that
the
sometimes.
trend line
And then it went
that
out, and
I
I took a
demarcated.
small partial off and then
And as you
partialed
can
off, and
see
I was
here,
all the way
it broke
done.
that trend
So,
line.
because
So I
remember
was
my original
comfortable
entry
with
was
it going
here,
up.
so I
Now I
let
set my
it's actually wicked really fast, and I
profit
took a
target
little bit of slippage
originally
there.
at VWAP
And then I
156.5, but
tried
I
one
saw
more
this
long here
SMA
because it
moving
held
down
above the 50,
from the
but
1 minute
got
chart.
stopped out.
So I adjusted
And then
my
this is actually, it
exit
stopped
to
out, held
156
here for, I
just
don't know,
because
it
it's a
was
nice
really
even
weird on the
low
1 minute
number,
chart. It held here
and
for a really
it's
long time.
that
The ass
eventually
flipped back
became
up
where
bid, so
the
I took a small
SMA
position
met.
there with just with the
I
loss. I'm
did
just
scale
kind
at a
of
piece
bottom
here,
tailing it a little bit
50
there
shares here,
because I just
simply
really didn't think
because
it was
it
going to
was
break
consolidating
down
around
much
this
more with the
area.
way
So I didn't
everything
want the
looked.
stock to drop
And
on me
then
without
once
me
it
taking some
reclaimed the 50
profit.
moving average, I
So I
added in
took that,
heavy here again.
and then I basically
And
watched
then
it, and then it popped,
there.
and then I scaled out
Once
here.
I
So
was
that
in
was a very
there, I
good
got a
move.
couple
Overall,
small
350
partials
shares. It
just to
moved
make
up
sure I wasn't gonna chop myself
almost
out of this thing, and then it
about
pulled back
50. So
here, held, and then sprung.
made quite a bit of
So, and
money
this
on
actually, all
that
this
trade
happened
there.
while I was walking my dog.
Looks like
So
it's consolidating. It may
you're
pop
welcome.
and go up to
So
VWAP, but I'm done with my
it's
day.
I probably could have
Workday
done
and
without some of
CRM
this here in the middle, but when
basically
you're
made my day.
trading,
However,
especially when
could
you're,
have done
this is a
better.
little chop, and I kind of got myself
EXPE,
in
if
the
I had
chop
taken some
here.
profit
So I probably,
on the
I probably
drop,
gave back,
that would have
20 or
been
$30 right here
that
where
would have
I
made my
shouldn't
day
have.
even better. But instead, I messed up my
But
trade at
I'm
EXPE and
trying to
basically
get
gave
these
back the
really
profit I made
precise
earlier in the day
and low
into that
entries on
stock.
some
So,
of these, and I
um,
do a lot of it, and it's a
yep. So
strategy
that's
that's
it.
really not for everybody. So I always